Good morning and welcome back. Today is the 16th day of August 2016, and I'm going to take you today to Norristown, Pennsylvania, where the Pennsylvania Attorney General, the state Attorney General of the state, is convicted on all counts, according to the New York Times. Now, she's a Democrat, and they say that she is a rising star. Well, if you're going to be a female Democrat and you're going to be a rising star, got to learn to lie. Got to be just like Hillary. You see, the Democrats, they just can't tell the truth. But anyway, a jury found Mrs. Kane is her name, Kathleen G. Kane, guilty of 9 criminal charges, including perjury, criminal conspiracy, and convicted her of leaking grand jury information and then lying about it in an effort to discredit a political rival. Wow, that does sound like Hillary, doesn't it? Anyway, she got herself caught up in a web of scandal and counter-scandal and passing lewd emails and political rivals and alleged leaks of all different kinds, and it's cost other state officials, including 2 state Supreme Court justices, their jobs. And it cost her her law license. Was it worth it, Kathleen Kane? Now, she's still on the job as an attorney general, but she has no law license, so she can't practice, so I think that ain't going to work too well. Anyway, Miss Kane, according to the Times, stared straight ahead as the word guilty, uttered decisively by a juror in a flowered dress, echoed 9 times around the courtroom. And then the lawyers went into a conference, and they left her sitting at the table by herself, thinking about all the people staring at her. And then when the judge came back, Judge Wendy Demchick-Alloy, I'm going to Demchick-Alloy. When she returned to the courtroom, she turned directly to Mrs. Kane with a stern warning. There is to be absolutely no retaliation of any kind against any witness in this case, either by your own devices, from your own mouth or your hand, or directing anybody to do anything, the judge said. She threatened Miss Kane, who is currently free on bail, with immediate incarceration if she failed to comply. So you see, the judge even recognized the fact that Democrats can't be trusted. So anyway, to go on with what the governor has to say now, he's going to try and talk her to step down. As a matter of fact, his exact words were, "The office of the Attorney General and its employees, as well as the people of Pennsylvania, deserve to move on." Now, her lawyer, Gerald Shargel, Shargel, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, he said a decision about her job is going to be made in the next few days. Well, I think the decision's pretty much made, because nobody's going to pay any attention to a convicted liar and a thief, unless it's Hillary Clinton. But anyway, to her detractors, she had abused her power, she had broken the law. To her supporters, she had roused the state's good old boy network and become a victim herself. But in court, she was silent. Though her defense team cross-examined the prosecution's witnesses, it rested without calling a single one of its own. And I can understand that. She was quite a woman. I'm just going to leave it at that. But now, in her own words, she said, "This is war. Wars have casualties. Wars have scars." This is what she said when she started attacking her competitors and fellow lawyers and whatever. But in an almost 2-hour closing statement, And they covered with text messages, newspaper front pages, and grand jury testimony. Mr. Steele, who was the prosecutor, painted a picture of Mrs. Kane trying to go on the offensive after a newspaper article and actually criticized her for shutting down an undercover operation into possible corruption by Democratic state representatives. Sounds like Hillary. Anyway, prosecutors say that she believed that Mr. Fina, and I don't know who Mr. Fina is, but he was behind the story. Mrs. Kane sought to leak details from a 2009 grand jury investigation into the financial affairs of J. Wyatt Mondesire, the former leader of the NAACP, because she wanted residents to know that he had chosen that Mr. Fina, had chosen not to prosecute. Then she lied about it when a grand jury investigated it. Things that the Commonwealth says do not hold up to scrutiny when you look at the evidence, and cast blame instead on two prosecution witnesses, Adrian King, a former deputy to Miss Kane, and Josh Morrow, a political strategist who was given immunity to testify. Sound familiar? Right on back to Hillary Clinton. Anyway, she was upset with the state's male-dominated political establishment, and she concocted her political difficulties to retaliate. Sound like Hillary? Retaliate for the disclosures and to prevent more emails from being leaked. So anyway, Judge Demchick-Alloy limited discussion of those emails at the request of the prosecutors, to the point to which Ms. Kane's lead attorney, Mr. Shargle, seemed to allude after he left the courtroom. We have been denied the opportunity to mount a full defense. There is no defense for corruption, in case Mr. Shargle doesn't know. Anyway, outside the courthouse, Michelle Henry, a prosecutor in the case, said she was offended by Miss Kane's crimes, as she well should be. What she did while she was the Attorney General, the fact that she committed criminal acts when she's a top prosecutor, is a disgrace. The judge has not yet set a sentencing hearing, but she could face prison time. 2 felony perjury charges alone carry up to 7 years apiece. So anyway, that just goes to show that corruption in the Democratic Party does not stay with Hillary Clinton. The Democratic Party is full of corruption from the very top to the very bottom. That's the way they've operated for years, and that's the way they'll continue to operate until somebody steps in and cleans that mess up. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. You have a great day. Pass this on to your friends. They'll enjoy it. Come back and see me.